Good morning! Halika, magkape tayo. Our text for today's reflection is taken from the Gospel of Luke chapter 6 verses 37 to 45. It says, "He looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the treasury, and he saw a poor widow put in 2 copper coins. And he said, 'Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them, for they all contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty, but in all the living that she had.'" Thus far is the reading of the text from St. Luke for our reflection today. What it is for us? What is God's message for us today? Before we start, I am hoping and praying na after 2 weeks or so, yung nakalipas na unos and bagyo, I'm hoping and praying na settled na tayong lahat, more or less, and we are now on the stage or state of trying to build up once again what has been broken, shattered from the devastations of the past calamities. So, today is Monday, ipagpatuloy natin ulit ang ating nasanayang prayer, reflection, sharing with Father Jerry over a cup of coffee. So I hope meron na tayong focus at time for our daily prayer reflection. The gospel today is about sharing, offering, letting go of something for the sake of helping, supporting our neighbors. And titingnan po natin, how do Jesus, kung tawagin natin, how do He motivates us, His followers, to keep on giving, sharing, offering, letting go of some things for our neighbors who are in need. That's the whole gospel today, or the gospel is all about. But there is something more deeper just describing what is it all about. Today, the gospel is about a poor woman, a widow, who went into the temple to worship and offered something to the altar. And while he was on the act of worship, not so far from the temple, Jesus and the rest of his disciples was or were observing those people coming in, coming out inside the temple area to worship and drop their offerings in the collection box. So ito yung nangyari sa gospel today. So, titinan po natin. Do you know the joy of selfless giving and generous love for others? I think this statement is being shown, manifested into the poor widow's action inside the temple today, as observed by Jesus and the rest of his disciples. True love doesn't calculate, it spends lavishly. So Jesus drove this point home to his disciples while sitting in the temple and observing the people offering their tithes 10%. And Jesus praised a poor widow who gave the smallest of coins in contrast with the rich who gave greater sums or amount of money. How can someone in poverty give more or give more than someone who has ample means? Jesus' answer is very simple. Love is the most precious gift than gold or treasure. Jesus in the gospel today taught us that real giving must come from the heart. A gift that is given with a string attached or for display for others to see, it loses its value. It loses its meaning. But a gift given out of love with a spirit of generosity and sacrifice is precious in the eyes of God. The amount or the size of the gift freely given doesn't matter as long as it is motivated by pure love, not the motivation in order for one who offered to be seen, to be acknowledged by the people or people who belongs to the higher ups of society. This poor widow could have kept one of her coins actually, but instead she intended to give away all, underline all, that she had. And Jesus praised her action because it was everything she had. She had. Everything she had that should have been used for her living, for her existence. But no, he or she gave her all. And that act of kindness and generosity was appreciated by the Lord. What we have to offer may look very small and not worth much. But if we put all we have at the Lord's disposal, no matter how insignificant it may seem to others, then God can do with it and with us what is beyond our reckoning. Before I uh, share with you or state to you our challenge in the gospel today, let me share to you one common experience of mine as a priest for 35 years. In the parishes that I served before, several of them, ito common experience ko pagdating sa Mass while I'm celebrating Mass, especially on Sundays. Na-observe ko, ang tagal matapos ang offertory procession. So ako nakatayo sa altar, waiting for kung kailan matapos ang offertory procession. Yun pala later on, na-observe ko dahil while observing, yun din ang mga sharing ng ibang mga collectors guild naka-assign. Nahihirapan sila sa collection time dahil, di ba, yung collection ginagamit mostly tawag sa Bisaya is sibot. May handle siyang piece of wood, yung ganon, and then yung lagayan sa dulo para i-collection, i-ano mo na lang tao yung collection. And most of the time, pagdating sa ibang mga known na mga personalities sa parish or community, napagkatagal dahil habang pinapasok yung kamay sa kanilang bulsa, magtataka ka na lang, tagal-tagal makakuha ng pera para sa offertory. Yun pala nangyari dahil hinahanap pa kung saan ang pinakamaliit na coin. Dahil yun pala ang ilalagay sa collection. Nandun naman sana yung mga buo-buo dyan, pero ayun na nga, hinahanap pa saan yung pinakamaliit. Sorry for that, but it's my experience. So, almost everyone, nagtatagal yung collection time dahil nga doon, hinahanap. Sinishare ko lang yan, it's a joke, but it's happening to me, even until today. Bakit ba ganon? Dahil hinahanap pa kung anong coin meron dyan, Father. Teka muna. Ito yung challenge ko. Every time you give, let go, share, offer something, hindi mo natin alam that what we offer, what we give, it represents who we are. Hindi yan nag-represents to whom we give the offering, but it represents who we are in relation to the person we are offering or giving or letting go of something. In my mind before, sabi ko, when you give a coin during the celebration of the Eucharist, titignan naman natin na yung in-offer natin, napakatagal na hinihintay ng collector, a coin, sana 10 piso, sana, hindi piso. That coin represents you in relation to the one you are offering. And during the Eucharist, you are offering that peso, buo, whatever, to the church or to God, represented by our act of worship in the church. So ang question ko, challenge na rin natin. Try to think or reflect. Is this 1 piso coin na nilalagay ko sa collection box is enough for me to represent my relationship with God? Is God for me worth only this piso coin? I'm so blessed. Blessed in the sense na, sabi ko nga sa isang mga talks ko, hindi naman tayo gumagapang na wala nang makakain. Hindi tayo gumagapang na naghihirap na tayo dahil binibigay natin ang lahat kay Lord. Kaya sa tanong ni Peter, Lord, we have offered everything to you. Ano bang bawi nito sa amin? I didn't think so. But that offering during the Mass is a representation of your relationship to that. So the coin is your act of relating, offering, and giving back to the giver because the giver is God. So every time we celebrate the Eucharist and offer, kahit maliit, as long as andun yung tinatawag ni Jesus, sabi natin kanina, it should have been motivated by love. Because that love, yet you express through giving, is your manifestation of that, how precious is that relationship you have with God. So, konting storya lang, pero ang lawak ng lesson na sinishare ko. Anyway, itutuloy natin. When we give something to the church, particularly during the Eucharist, our act of giving represents or reflects our image of who we are in relation to whom we give or we offer something. It represents ourselves, who we are in relation to the people whom we offer. And in this context is the celebration of the Eucharist, by which we give, we share. We share our abundance back to the giver as God. Hindi natin alam. Dating sa misa, tinanggap ng pare, pagkatapos, bless ni Lord, bumabalik ang mga bagay-bagay na in-offer natin. In-offer natin, bumabalik yon in the form of His body and blood that nourishes us every day as we exist. Okay? So, all this gospel text today reminds us the importance of our motivation, objective, our purpose when we offer, when we give, when we let go on something for the sake of the church. Okay? So, paano yan mga kapatid? Good morning ulit and see you tomorrow. Magandang buhay! Don't forget your coffee.